The social media app TikTok has experienced incredible growth in recent months, reaching an estimated 2 billion downloads. However, not everyone's excited about installing the app, with some people and governments concerned about the app's owners and their connections to the Chinese government. So in this video, we're going to discuss TikTok, why some people are proposing banning the app, and if the app is actually a security risk. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. We've got a big announcement ready for when we hit 100,000 subscribers, and while we're not quite there yet, we're growing pretty quick, so you can definitely help. Also, hitting the bell icon means that you'll be notified every time we post. Thanks so much for your support. So, for those of you who haven't already wasted hundreds of hours scrolling through TikTok, let me give you a quick overview of what the platform has to offer. TikTok is a video sharing platform, which allows users to publish vertical videos up to 60 seconds in length. While that might not sound revolutionary, TikTok's USP is the For You tab, an endlessly scrolling screen of videos the app thinks that you might be interested in. It's almost cliche to say at this point, but the TikTok algorithm is incredible at discerning what you're interested in. When you first install the app, the For You section of the site seems a little confusing, but as time goes on, the app learns what you like, what you follow, what you watch, and what you skip. It learns what you're interested in, and the For You page becomes increasingly, well, for you. This means that instead of just following the creators you like, the app also feeds in tons of video from people you don't even know or follow, allowing essentially anyone to see their videos go viral. Speaking of which, we couldn't talk about TikTok for this long and not make one ourselves, so you can find us by searching for TLDR News. So that's TikTok and its appeal, an endlessly scrolling feed of videos tailored and selected for you. What's the concern here? Why are some people worried that this innocuous-seeming app is actually a security threat? Well, ultimately it comes down to the app's origins and their parent company. TikTok is developed by Chinese company ByteDance and is based out of Beijing. This is enough to set alarm bells ringing for some, with some governments and individuals inherently concerned about the Chinese government's involvement in Chinese businesses. However, talk of banning the app isn't just US paranoia or the ratcheting up of tensions in the ongoing trade war. Other countries are also concerned about the use of TikTok within their borders. Most recently, India banned the app, a big blow for the company, whose biggest market had been India up until that point. Beyond just countries, employers are also making changes, with the US Army and Navy banning service members from downloading the app on their officially issued devices, a move copied by Wells Fargo. In fact, Democratic and Republican staffers have also been warned about the app by their respective national committees. So it seems that a decent number of people have genuine concerns about the app and its security, with US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo telling Fox News that TikTok's users were putting private information in the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. This seems a little hyperbolic, and while the language used might be intentionally shocking, there could be some truth in this. That's because unlike other countries, China has some pretty strict rules about the information that private companies have to share with the government. In fact, following the passage of China's 2017 National Intelligence Law, private Chinese companies are obligated to comply with government data collection efforts, handing over potentially huge quantities of data upon the government's request. Considering how much the US and other countries trust China, and more specifically their government, it's not surprising that they're not keen on rules like this. And as such, some think that it's safer just to not work with Chinese companies at all, in order to prevent data from being passed on to the Chinese government. Now, TikTok have responded to this, and it's rather telling that their response was published in October 2019, showing quite how long these suspicions have been festering. In their press release, they highlighted the fact that all data related to US users is not stored in China. Instead, it's housed in the United States, with a backup redundancy in Singapore. Because all the data is processed and stored outside of China, it means that according to them, none of our data is subject to Chinese law. If you trust TikTok on this one, then all of their international data is safe from Chinese intelligence requests. Even if they did request access, TikTok would have no reason to comply. However, there are some that doubt TikTok's claims. Despite the fact that TikTok have distanced themselves from their parent company ByteDance, setting up international offices and even employing major talent from other companies, including their new chief executive and former Disney exec, Kevin Mayer, this doesn't overshadow ByteDance's pretty shady past. A report from cybersecurity giant Lookout shows that ByteDance has cooperated with the Chinese government in the past, most notably remarking on their work with officials in Xinjiang to disseminate the party's state propaganda. Their involvement in Xinjiang is especially notable, as this province is well known for the existence of concentration camps used to oppress minorities, something we discuss in another video. Another report from Pentrim alleged that a majority of the app's data could be traced to servers in China hosted by Alibaba. Not only does this suggest that their data is still going back to China, the report also states that these servers have been involved in security breaches in the past, as well as, according to their own privacy policy, sharing personal information of its users with third parties. It's not just these standard issues which have raised red flags though. There have been other TikTok-specific issues which have been raising eyebrows. For example, in June, it emerged that TikTok might be looking at the clipboard of your phone. That's where recently copied images and text are stored. The latest developer release of Apple's iOS operating system notifies users when an app is pulling from their clipboard to ensure that users are aware of how their data is being used. The issue is that this new feature flags a functionality within TikTok, where the app looks in a user's clipboard after every 1 to 3 keystrokes. The app's creators say that this was an experimental feature, and that they were only viewing clipboards to ensure that users weren't spamming the platform with copied and pasted messages. They went on to remark, "We submitted an updated version of the app to the App Store, removing the anti-spam feature to eliminate any potential confusion, as well as clarifying that the feature had never been rolled out on Android." Professor Alan Woodward, a cybersecurity expert at the University of Surrey, seek to reassure users, reminding them that the clipboard is actually designed to be silently readable by apps, and while it's not ideal, in this case, there is no evidence that it was sending the data anywhere other than the phone. There's no cause for alarm. Even if you trust TikTok on both of these issues, that their data isn't being held in China and thus they wouldn't have to comply with Chinese data requests, and they don't have any malintentions when it comes to data privacy, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's safe from a ban in the US. While Pompeo cited privacy concerns when speaking to Fox News, the president seems a little less concerned about the privacy and technological concerns, and more interested in the politics, optics, and business of it. Speaking to Grey Television, Trump remarked that TikTok was a big business, going on to comment, "Look at what happened with China with this virus. What they've done to this country and the entire world is disgraceful." These remarks and others suggest that Trump may be willing to punish China for other perceived transgressions, even if the data and privacy concerns aren't all that important. Trump hasn't exactly been China's biggest fan, even since before the beginning of his presidency, and the coronavirus has only fanned these flames, making it possible that the president might want to limit the spread of TikTok just to hurt the Chinese business. This is only made more likely because of the controversy surrounding his Tulsa rally in June. That Trump rally was, shall we say, underattended. Despite claiming that millions of people applied for tickets and that the crowds were breaking records, Trump failed to fill the venue, and the outdoor overflow area was dismantled before the rally even began. Why am I recounting this painful moment for Trump? Well, because many attributed this chaos to TikTok users. Videos have been going viral on the platform, encouraging people to apply for tickets, thus inflating figures and potentially blocking out those who genuinely wanted to attend. While this was viewed by many as an innocent prank conducted by TikTok teens, it's possible this also put the app on Trump's radar, annoying him enough that when the idea of banning the platform arose, he was more willing to jump on it. And it does seem that the Trump team are really running with this issue, as the official Trump presidential campaign has been sending their supporters a petition to ban the social network. So before we finish, 2 quick questions. Can Trump ban TikTok? And would a ban even work anyway? Firstly, the US government absolutely could request that the app is removed from app stores, such as the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. This is a perfectly legitimate and legal move from the government, but equally, the tech companies could push back. As tech analyst Wayne Lamb told CNET, the tech community will be very hesitant to go along with this app ban, as it sets a precedent for the government to ban other apps or even other global apps to be inaccessible to the US market. The administration could take things even further though and block all traffic to TikTok, although this would be an unprecedented and likely unpopular move towards further internet censorship. The even bigger problem is whether this would actually work in practice. Although Apple operates a so-called walled garden approach, where all apps have to be downloaded from a central app store, Google's Android offers a far more flexible approach. As such, any user can just download apps from the internet, so even if TikTok disappeared from the Google Play Store, Android users could just download the app from elsewhere. It's also worth noting that even with India's ban, the government hasn't been able to remove the app from people's phones, so anyone who had the app before the ban took place still has access. On top of all of that, we haven't even discussed the fact that users could use VPNs or foreign versions of the App Store to get around these measures, so it looks like the ban would only ever have a very limited success. What do you think though? Are you skeptical of TikTok and ByteDance? Do you use the app, and has all of this controversy impacted how you feel about it? And importantly, do you think that it's the government's place to ban apps like this, especially on the basis of politics and international disputes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, you can also join the conversation over on Discord. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be updated every time we post a new video. You can also find more from us across all social networks simply by searching for TLDR News. Special thanks to our Patreon backers, whose support makes videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name listed at the end of videos just like these people, then be sure to back us on Patreon. There's a link to that in the description.